Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. NFL Week 4 best bets: the gold, the silver, the bronze. And if you're following Pat Mayo, it's just a bunch of losers, because that's all I've been giving out recently. Cam Stewart and Rob Pizzola will be here momentarily, but I want to remind all of you to smash the like button for the episode, subscribe to Mayo Media Network, and in the comments section, give me your best bet for Week 4 of the NFL. And if you're big into player props or DraftKings or DFS or whatever it is you want to do, but player props in particular, runthesims.com has a free trial throughout the rest of the weekend. So if you ever want to get your hands on an optimizer, make your own projections, or compare player props with VIG and running the game simulation 10,000 times, well, you can do that right now at Run the Sims. Just go sign up for a free account. All you need is an email, and you will be good to go on that front. So I highly recommend you go check it out. I've actually been doing very well with the props. Not so much the ones I've been giving out on this show, but overall, if you watch the Saturday show, props have been pretty good. And mainly that is because of runthesims.com. So please go check that out right now. And just being able to input the VIG on each side and then run it and then run the 10,000 simulation. So you'll get your median projection, but then it will still tell you if it's a good bet or not, because if you have to lay minus 135 instead of plus 110, I mean, that changes how many times your bet actually needs to win for it to be a good wager. So that's all built into the system. Super easy to use. So once again, runthesims.com. Also, if you sign up right now, you're in an entry for a $333 DraftKings ticket, 10 Millie Maker tickets, 10 monthly subs to runthesims.com. So, hey, you should go do that right now. Cheat sheet for this show will be up on DKNation.com. All the rankings will be updated very soon up on DKNation.com as well. And the Listeners League link is in the description. Guys, Cam stays hot, hitting his gold pick once again. I go 0-3. Pizzola, you go 0-3. It was not a good week for us.
I mean, I'll say this about last week. I always own up to whenever I have a bad week in general, and I'm going to own it. I mean, it was a struggle last week, but I will say we weren't in a great headspace, Pat, last week. You know, Cam took this show to a really dark place. He's talking about murder and you know, setting animals on fire and stealing from grocery stores.
Hey,
like, it's really hard to make
Pizzola,
when you're in that state of mind.
I had to interrupt you. I love animals. I'm talking about psychos who become murderers, who hurt animals and then light them on fire and then create pet cemeteries on their property. I have my mom's dog, Buddy. I admit, my mom gives the dog sharp Balderson cheddar and beautiful cuts, and I'm getting Kraft singles and blade steak. But I'll tell you this, I love animals. Never say that. I would say something, though. If somebody hurt you, Pat, Morency, my family, remember, I said that's the only time I could kill a person, if somebody killed somebody I love.
It was just we were rattled a little bit. It was a darker show last week.
It was dark,
and then you know we spent a lot of talk about murder and homicide and stuff like that.
We did.
And then we're trying to make picks afterwards. You kind of get thrown off a little bit.
I agree with that, Pizzola. You bring up a lot of really good points there.
Yeah, between us and our 3 picks each, we were 1 for 9, so that's not good. But Cam continues his heater of gold picks, currently 3-0 for the season, because the Rams, Cam, ended up coming through for you against the Bucs.
Yeah, no, but Pizzola's right, Pat. It was one of those weeks where I was rattled, and I thought I actually was going to have a 2-in-1 week. You saw that, Rob, that Jacksonville game with the pick 6 with Lawrence. I had them the other night. See, that's what I expected a little bit more of. Trevor Lawrence running, I know, covering a big number when they're playing Arizona. But thanks, Pat. The silver and bronze weren't so great. It was, as Rob said, it was a bad week for all of us. We got to shake it off big time. No more murder talk. Let's talk about Lucky Charms, rainbows, things that make us happy. You know what I mean? Pots of gold and friendly, cuddly things. No more murder. No more homicide. No more clues. No blood. Yeah, let's just talk about happy things. Maybe horses or something. Then again, I bet on horses. Something that's not murder. I agree.
Well, we're in on a horse. Paul Shag and I got in. Cody bought another horse.
Oh, did he? So
Is this horse being raced? Like, is this a racehorse, or is it just like
no,
a regular?
No, I'll tell you what it is. It's a trotter, and I guarantee you one thing. He won't break his hoof. He won't have like 7 weeks off like our horse and basically like taking $25,000 and flushing it or burning it, whatever the hell you want to do it. Pat, I guarantee the fact that me and Morency are not involved in your horse, you will thrive financially.
Well, there was a big thing because Cody bought half of it. Then he put out like 49 shares to other people who wanted to get in. It wasn't all that
nice.
Much. You can buy 1% of it. Just something fun that we can root on. But there was a directive that Cust was not allowed to be involved.
Yeah.
No, Pat, see, that's the thing. Like, we had a guy, and I admit, me and Gabe, we could be mushes, but we needed some money. So when we were sponsored by the weed guy, Bon Scrovey wants to get involved with everything we do. This guy lives in like the TIFF building. So he's like, oh, I'll give you guys some money and stuff. And the minute he got involved, it's just like the football picks. Like Pizzola, I used to go to the store with this guy. He's a guy who plays like 6-game parlays over, under. Like, you know what I mean? I go, this guy's part ownership of the horse. We go out and watch. He finishes 9th out of 12. And we're sitting there like stooges and the whole thing's filmed. And the guy's got the camera in my face. You feel good? You feel good? I got to punch him in the face. Pat, I'm glad you're involved in the horse racing game. Let me tell you about it, though. It is a bitch goddess. People, you need a whole stable to make money. But now you got Safdie involved. I think you guys are going to do well. And the only time Conflict Diamond ever won, we weren't even at the track. We were working. Good for us.
Yeah, what if you just fronted Cust some money and had him
he can't be buy
up some other horses and race them against yours?
That's not a bad idea.
Actually, Pizzola, that's genius.
That's what we should be going with here. I mean, I wish I could somehow get him to pick the opposite of my gold pick this week, because I think that he did on our spread pick show. If you missed the spread pick show, that's out right now. I'm going to start off with my gold pick, and I don't know if I've ever done this before. I'm taking the Bills minus 16 against the Texans. I just don't understand how the Texans can score points against the Bills. And if the Bills have 30% of the offensive flair that they showed last week, like they beat a much better Dolphins team 35-0. They kicked the crap out of Washington. Like, we always point to the Ravens as that team that kind of runs train over all these bad teams. Over the past 2 years, that's kind of developed into the Bills. And the Bills' defense is pretty good. The one play that the Texans have at their disposal to try to score points is bomb it to Brendan Cooks. But the Bills actually have an answer for that, where no one did the first few weeks. I mean, they're going to be playing catch-up the entire time. Just say, hey, Tre'Davious White, your job, Brendan Cooks gets no catches, and we'll see how they try to score points. Like, the Bills might score 25 points in this game and cover, it's minus 17 now. Great. So cover the minus 17. I don't think I've ever laid a spread this big, but I just feel like the Bills kill them.
You're probably right. Like, it's very, very.
When Pizzola says that to you, Patty, he's like, when he takes a deep breath, no. Yes, he does.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Like, it's very difficult to make an argument for the Texans, right? Like, the Texans, this Davis Mills, like, this guy he doesn't have an arm. Like, I don't know how else to put it, but watching this guy throw wobblers over the middle of the field, he doesn't really have an NFL caliber arm. The problem is, I'm just looking ahead to next week, which is Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. And like, if you're the Bills, like, obviously you're going to win this, you want to win this game, but your biggest motivation is, let's get into the Chiefs game healthy next week, right? Like, it could be a foot off the gas type of situation in the second half, where the Bills start to pull starters, maybe in the fourth quarter, something along those lines. That would be my hesitation. But I mean, I would rather be Cam's butler for a month than bet on the Houston Texans this week. Like, that's where I'm standing on this game.
It's a pretty simple job. All you do is go to the liquor store, right? The grocery store, make coffee, and do laundry. That's the only thing I'd make you do. I'm not making you do push-ups or anything like that. Like, it's a very simple. God, I'd love a butler. Can we do like a bet, Pat? Come up with something, because let's do a butler contest, because I could really use some help around the house.
Yeah, but like, I don't want to be the guy, okay, Pizzola, go pick me up this stuff at the grocery store and make sure that you switch the stickers on the meat so that I can get half price. Rob,
murder and grocery scams were last week. Let's move forward here.
I understand, but like, that's what when I said I don't want to be, like, I'd rather be your butler for a month, I was trying to say, like, this is something I really don't want to do. And then the Houston Texans, betting them is below this. So like, I'm not really offering to be your butler and like, maybe if
you hear this guy, Pat, wow, unbelievable.
I feel like it would be tough being here. I'll send up Cust. We'll film Cust. He can be your butler for a week and see how it goes.
Sounds amazing. Actually,
The house is
see,
burned
so
down.
yeah,
I mean, the
exactly. I'm
house
thinking
would
about
catch
all
on
the
fire.
bets. Like, I don't know if it's really. I think I'll pass on that. I really need help, but
How about we wait until preseason hockey is over? Then I can send them up.
yes, thank you, Pat. It's a cash cow of preseason hockey.
It's very lucrative.
Oh, it is. It really is. Well, anything else? Who's
No,
next?
You can comment on Pat's pick.
I was just gonna say,
Pat, the Bills are going to win that game. I'm with Pizzola. It's not in my minerals. Like if there was a tungsten or whatever, I think the Bills win this game by 27 points. So I got no problem with it.
all right, Pizzola, you're up. Gold pick.
Cold pick. I'm really rattled because DraftKings is showing Jets 6.5 right now. I like the Jets a lot, but I'm not making 6.5 my gold. Let's go with I will take the New York Giants +7. I know that number's moved from 7.5 to 7, but I still like it at 7. This is very similar for me to what we saw with like Bengals Jags on Thursday night, where you have this team that just doesn't deserve to be favored by this many points. And I'm not saying the Saints are necessarily the Bengals, but you look at what the Saints want to do on offense right now. Jameis Winston, through 3 games, has not thrown more than 148 yards in a single game. This is a team that's run first. Sean Payton's like, Jameis, please don't throw it down the field. Please don't make any mistakes. We'll play the field position game here. We'll punt if we need to. It's okay. If you watched the Saints and Patriots last week, there was a play close to the goal line where Winston was getting sacked and he chucked it into the end zone and it ended up being a touchdown. And which was great because, I'm there and I was rooting for the over, which ended up losing, but he runs back to the bench. He's smiling. Peyton grabs him, pulls him over. And he's like, don't ever do that again type of thing. This is an offense that is basically neutered at this point, right? It's like the Taysom Hill is involved, quite a bit. What'd you say?
Pets again. Yeah. I mean, Fowler's Petsy. See, now you're starting everything now.
Spaying and neutering is good to control the.
Yeah, who are you, Bob? Yeah, Bob Barker over here. Yeah, I get it.
There's lots of pets that don't have homes. I think it's fine to
I would love to have
neuter.
a pet, but he'll chew through my wires. That's the problem. He needs to be trained. I got like a pit full of snakes here. I got Ethernet cables and whatever. Get the pets. He's just going to start gnawing on cords. That's the whole problem.
There's solutions to that, right? I mean,
I don't have time to train the damn pet because I'm working all the time.
But if Cust was your butler,
yes,
he could train the pet.
That's the perfect job for him. Take the dog for a walk and figure it out, Cust. Don't be near bets.
I don't know if you want him to take the dog outside.
Yeah, the dog out for a walk? That sounds like an awful idea. Although you have like a track around your compound, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, he can't get lost on the track.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He can get lost on the track.
There's a lot of single women with children there too. Great place for Cust to stir up conversations of about 5. He's like one of those guys. He knows about 5 minutes about every topic in the world. Chicks like that initially. Like he can hit that conversation. Next thing you know, Cust is fathering a child.
It's hit or miss though.
In my
could be
complex.
annoying for some women as well. Some women don't like the know-it-all guy.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Well,
I'm surprised that you got a woman then there, eh? Numbnuts.
Hold on. This is from Cust this morning. So there are 2 comments from Cust.
Sorry.
I am a fan of the commoners. I always defend them against elitism. And then a minute later, Cust also says, double cream brie is rubber compared to triple cream brie.
I'm a fan of the commoners.
The commoners.
Oh, man. Cust looks down on everyone like they're peasants, basically, with his triple
we're
cream
serfs. Brie. Yeah, we're serfs. Cust's the king. I get it. What are we doing? Gold picks?
Yeah, no. I'm in with Pizzola on the Giants. Were going to make my short list. I had them lined up as a silver pick at +7 right now. They're still 7.5 dangling out there, like you said. So, but even +7, I like it. I'm completely on board with you. Although the Saints will cover this number. How do you think about this as the theory? Saints as an underdog, just bet the money line. Saints as a favorite, bet the spread against them.
I mean, I'm not in love with it. The reality is, if you do like a team as an underdog, you should be willing to bet the money line as well in almost every case, because there's value on the spread as an underdog. There should be value on the money line as well. I don't abide by rules, Pat. Like, I don't stick to stuff like that just in general or these specific angles. I get it. Like, there's probably some certain teams in the NFL that fit that profile pretty well. I think Seattle's maybe one of them as well, where you like always avoid them as a favorite. Bet the money line when they're dogs. situations like that. But like, I don't like to, lump myself into a set of rules type of thing. I just kind of evaluate each game as it is. And I say, if I think there's value on the point spread, I'll play a point spread. If I think there's value in the money line, I'll play the money line.
Well, the biggest thing would be that especially when the Saints are up at this number and having to cover a touchdown, maybe that's what it is. Because we saw Carolina absolutely wax them when their coaches and half their defense was off with COVID. But They're going to play tough defense. They're going to run the ball. They're going to slow down the pace of the game. It just, although they would have covered this number last week, it just seems like it's going to be difficult for them to cover big numbers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, it's not a team that necessarily is built to do that. I mean, like you said, like, they really slow down the game, right? Like these long drawn out possessions, heavy running. Like, this is not a team that's necessarily built to win by margin. What scares me most is obviously the Giants. It's not really the Saints in this game, because I don't think that the Saints are just going to come out and be chucking the ball downfield. That's not their MO. It's the Giants with the injuries to Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. Like, the wide receiving core stinks. Their coaching staff stinks. In particular, Jason Garrett as an offensive coordinator. So it's like, can the Giants score enough points to keep up? But then I just kind of fall back on, well, they're not the ones that are laying 7 points here. They're the ones getting 7 points. Like, they just have to make this a game. And honestly, on paper, what's separating the Giants and Saints? Like, coaching staff for sure, but there's not a whole lot. Right?
Offense and defensive lines.
Yes, but like, the defensive line for the Saints is beat up too, right? Like, just in general, it's not the same defensive line that started the year for them. So like, we can kind of throw that out, but Marcus Davenport, David Onyemata is still suspended. Quan Alexander's on IR. He'd be in the linebacking core, but it's not the same front seven that started the year for them. Offensive line, for sure. That's where we have a different story, but Teron Armstead, their left tackle's injured now. Eric McCoy, their center, is injured. So it's not like the Saints don't have problems on the offensive or defensive line either.
All right, Cam, gold star pick from you, sir.
It's funny, Pizzola. I still like the Jets. Can I get the Jets at 7.5 like it was all damn week? Anyway, we'll talk about this later. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts as my gold selection this week. It's a little bit crazy. They're playing the Miami Dolphins. This is their season on the line. They haven't been that bad. It's a simple process, actually. Just run Jonathan Taylor. He'll figure it out. Well, with Miami, their big comeback against the Raiders. Who cares? They gifted them that game, 14-0. There's a pick six early in that game. It was absolutely stupid. Indianapolis has their season on the line. I'm getting 2 points. I think they show up in this game. Carson Wentz is not perfect, but he will do enough. I think Indianapolis wins this game by 6. They're a 2-point dog. Give me the Colts in this spot. I think it's a it's a season. They lose this game, they're toast. They got big problems. I think they put their best foot forward, beat Miami outright. Give me Indianapolis as my gold. I had something else, but due to these spread changes, I had to change my tune as well. Give me Indy.
Well, +2. So what's going to happen now when you don't bet the +2 and you just bet the Colts money line and then they lose by 1?
I'll do both, Pat, but I have, see, that's the system that I have. Like, and Pizzola will tell me, listen, I'm not like you two guys. I don't have a million calculators and computers going. I use paper and a pen like a caveman. That's who I am. I'm an old school turkey. But I know one thing. I bet both games. Pizzola's right. If you think they are going to win the game, you take them on the money line as well. I'll bet the spread and I'll bet the money line. If I got 2.5, I'd probably buy the 0.5 to 3 because it's a key number. I know we talk about buying points, not usually a good idea, but I have confidence in this game. 2, I'm not going to buy. It's going to cost too much money. Just win the damn game. I'll take 2 points, cut it in half, and then I'll take the money line as well. But this is a spread show. Give me the horseshoe, the opposite of cussed. Good luck this week, Indy.
Pizzola, silver pick for you.
I was going to take the Dolphins as my silver pick.
Then do it.
Go for it. Go for it.
I don't like doing that in general.
Yes, I do. Yeah, what? Because I got Indy? Who cares? Pick what you pick.
You know what? I'm going to take the Dolphins so that at least we can guarantee one winner on this program.
I hate that. See, that's something I can't. You're supposed to feel it. You're going to do it out of spite now for our record?
No. Listen, I honestly consider Dolphins for my gold, so I'll take them as silver. I just like... Listen, I like to keep it fresh. I like to talk about a lot of different games in general, but okay. I mean, I feel like I'm being backed into a corner here with my silver selection, and
I'm not threatening you. I'm just
take the Dolphins. Go do it, kid. Like it's like you're goading me into it.
Well, you're basically saying my pick sucks. That's
I mean, no,
you are.
Cam, listen. You right now, you're you have the winning record. I mean, I was 0-3 last week, so I'm not like, this is the NFL. At the end of the day, there's a lot of these picks are flipping coins in general.
I agree.
For me, like, do people not realize the Colts are terrible yet? I don't understand. Like, they have a quarterback on the injury report listed like ankles. We're not talking about ankles. Like, both of his ankles are injured. And this is a quarterback that stunk to begin with. I never, ever liked Carson Wentz. Holds the ball way too long. Now they lose Quentin Nelson on the offensive line. High ankle sprain. He's out for a while. Braden Smith, the right tackle, is probably out again. Eric Fisher, who came back at left tackle, looks terrible. Does not look anywhere near 100%. So you got 3 bad offensive linemen or like 3 issues on the offensive line against a team in Miami who loves to blitz with a quarterback who can't throw the ball right away, like holds the ball forever. I think that's just like a recipe for disaster. And then, like, just to put things into perspective of why I think the Colts are so terrible, they won the turnover battle by 3 against Tennessee last week. They're +3 in turnover margin. They still lost by more than a touchdown. Like, they're probably not going to win the turnover battle against Miami because the Dolphins force turnovers against everyone. I don't know how long that streak has been now. It seems like they force a turnover in every single game. And now I look at the Colts injury report on defense. Kwity Paye probably not going to play for them. Kahari Willis not practicing. Darius Leonard not practicing. Rock Ya-Sin not practicing. Like, I don't know. I think the Colts are one of those teams where at the end of the year, we're like, this was a really bad team and we should have realized it a lot earlier. I've obviously been wrong about many things before, but I don't really understand this point spread. So I like the Dolphins.
I can get behind that. I think I might just stay away from this game, but
it's okay, Pat. Pick a side. Like, we're all friends here. You can pick.
We are.
I mean,
It's just good. We all bust each other's nuts. But
if you give me Brissett versus Wentz, I will take Brissett. Like, listen, I think Miami's going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be enough for me to put money on it.
I'll throw something out to you guys. Why is the spread? If it's so damn easy with Miami, why is it 2, not 3?
Because people think Rob's right. People think that the Colts are good still.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
The market is setting people up. The Colts are not a great football team. If you're watching football, you know they're not. But I'll tell you one thing. The Miami Dolphins with Jacoby Brissett aren't great either. The Bills murdered these guys. They went in last week against the Raiders. They were junk. Pizzola, you're right. The defense put them in good situations there in that game, and everybody and their mother was on the Raiders. And I was on the Dolphins, and we got a cover with the hook because of the line last week. You think I'm betting the Raiders? No, obviously. But I'm just saying, I know there's a lot of injuries with the Indy. I wanted the Jets. But the Jets were going to be my gold pick, but at 6.5, that's ridiculous. I should be getting at least 7.5 for them as a home dog against Tennessee. So I had to call an audible.
I get it. I think hold on. I think everyone I've talked to this week, myself included, when I was talking to Feinberg, we all kind of sniffed out these like New York spreads. Now, watch them both lose by like 45 points, but it seemed like really weird numbers.
It can happen. Like, obviously, like we're betting these games because we think there's value on these teams. I don't think the Jets are better than the Titans. I don't think the Giants are better than the Saints, but like, these are big numbers for these teams to cover in the NFL. And like, you look at what the Jets have faced opposing defenses this year, like they've run through the gauntlet when you consider their opponents this year. Carolina, New England.
Yep.
Who did they have last week? It was another good
Denver.
Yeah, like, now they get Tennessee. Like, it's a very big difference for them. If there was ever a game where Zach Wilson was going to play well, this is probably the spot.
You sold me. I just need more points. Pat, can I make the Jets my silver pick? I have to take the Jets this week, and Pizzola, I will parlay the Giants and Jets. Mayo, do the old Manhattan two-step this week with me, buddy. We go from Hoboken to Manhattan. We're on this, baby. I'm telling you, the Giants and Jets both cover.
How about this?
Bonus mineral pick.
Do you have because I'm looking, it's not DraftKings Sportsbook, but I'm just looking at a spot where the Jets are +7 right now. I will give you the +7 if you want it.
Thank you, Pat, because sold. Like that. See how nice you are? You offered me Cust as a butler. You're giving me a half point. Pizzola's shaking me down, calling me a stooge for betting.
Here we go.
For betting Miami. Sorry, Indy.
I
love you, Rob. I just got to come back at you sometimes because you just sit there in your lair and you're a very smart guy. You give old bear Cam. You give me the zingers, right? It's like you got a stick with an electrode on it, and you give me those little shots. I got to come back and defend myself. And I'll tell you another thing. I love you like a brother, Pizzola. You're a smart guy. I've worked with a lot of people in the gambling business. You get it. No, you were on top of this calculation stuff in hockey and Corsi and stuff before these sabermetrics nerds even knew what the hell it was. You were doing that stuff decades ago. So you know what? You're the real deal. There's a lot of phonies out there. You're a great capper. I just want to bust your balls because you bust mine. That's all. Give me the Jets.
I do appreciate that. I just love that how when I disagree with you on a play, you've internalized this as me calling you a stooge. Like, I'm not calling you a stooge.
Yeah,
like,
no, I don't really. Yeah, that was harsh. You're right.
Like, Pizzola's out here calling me a stooge. I'm like,
no. You're right. I'm putting words in your mouth.
Like, I've called you a stooge before, definitely.
Yes, you have.
Said goof,
you have.
bozo would be like,
yeah. Hey, the G word
terms.
See, that's the thing.
Goof.
Had a tenant who was in jail. You never use the G word. Goof is basically the worst thing you could say to somebody. It's worse than fuckface, tool, whatever. Like whatever you want to do to somebody. Goof, the G word is that's in. And no, the guy told me in prison. Goof means you're dead.
Well,
yeah, but,
I mean, maybe
yeah,
this guy
but we're not in prison though.
Yeah, like
we're not. But I'm just saying. I don't ever call anybody a goof because I've heard stories. That's the thing. Goof is just one of those words. It sounds all innocent and fun, but it leads to bloodshed. I am going to stay away from the G word.
I see. So you have chosen in your life to not use goof based like on the off chance that somehow you end up in prison one day.
Or say it to a guy who's been in prison and puts a shank in my neck.
So when they catch you for taking the bananas out of the grocery store without scanning them,
I'm not going to prison for that crime. I'm not going to prison for that crime.
You accidentally called a cop a goof and someone overhears it, like that's it for Cam. We're never going to hear from you again.
And the thing is, I love police. Police officers are usually good people, but when you give me $140 ticket for rolling a stop sign, I don't really think that's doing a community service.
Was it in a school, like a neighborhood?
No,
like
it was right by the beer store. And the worst thing about it was too, I got like a bottle of vodka popping out and a case of steam whistle on the ground, and I didn't even have a drop. I was going to start drinking, but I think the cop assumed that I already was like 2 or 3 in, not drunk. Mm-hmm. Said, but don't make that assumption because I wasn't. I was going to start drinking. I didn't start yet.
Would you say that this cop was a goof?
It was a girl.
So
what's the difference? I don't think that goof isn't a gendered term. Like, are you going to be betting on Jared Goof this week against the Bears?
I like Jared Goof. I think people give him a hard time a lot of the time. I know he doesn't take shots downfield, but
sucks.
Jared Goof. Yeah,
he also has very small hands.
He's a mid-grade quarterback.
He is what everyone has in their mind that they think that Derek Carr is. Jared Goff actually is that guy.
Jared Goff, like, first of all, this guy is like, he's got the IQ of a rock, basically, right? Like McVay had to call out the defenses for him for years, right?
I don't know about that. He went to Cal Berkeley. Is he stupid or obviously these guys get scholarships because they're good football players, but he could have gone to a stupider school.
Maybe. Like listen, I don't know. I don't know what IQ it takes or what SAT score you need to get to Cal Berkeley. I don't know, whatever. But the reality is this guy literally had to run up to the line of scrimmage right away so that McVay in his headset could tell him what he thought the defense was running because the headsets get cut off with 15 seconds left in the play clock. Like, he cannot read a defense. He literally cannot go up to the line of scrimmage and know what defense he's going up against. So like that, and then obviously the small hands, like that was the whole
that's
thing.
A problem. You gotta have huge hands.
He does have a small hand. Like it's just a fact. I'm not like for a quarterback.
No, you need monster mitts.
Very petite. Yes.
Remember Seattle's quarterback Dave Craig, same thing. That's why he fumbled all the time. You need big bear paws. Like you gotta have huge mitts.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
The other guy was John Beck. He had little carny hands. Good for
see that?
good for using like those little things to fix it up, but not good for the NFL.
I like that little carny hands. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I view it as like the puppet master hands.
Yeah,
where you like very little. You know, it's these little movements where you need these small. The finesse. You need the finesse. But Goff doesn't have any finesse. Goff stinks. Come on, Goff stinks.
So silver picks Miami -2 for Pizzola, Jets +7 for the Jets for Cam. I'm going to go with a prop this week, and it is Robbie Anderson over 46.5 yards. That's like one catch for him. So as long as he catches it, he should be good to go. But Pizzola, you'll know Dallas because they're your team. They do not cover the deep ball well at all. So since the beginning of last season, the Cowboys defense ranks 31st in deep completion percentage and 32nd in deep touchdown rate. And this season, Robbie Anderson has a 31.6 deep target market share on the Carolina Panthers, and it would be my thought that without McCaffrey, potentially more throwing, and I'm guessing Diggs probably tries to shut down DJ Moore. So this might actually be, I'm betting on it. I think it is going to be the Robbie Anderson game. So that seems like a pretty low total for a guy who does most of his damage on deep shots. 46.5 Robbie Anderson over receiving yards.
I'm not a huge player props guy. The logic makes sense for me just in general. I agree. I think Diggs is probably on more for the majority of this game, just in general. And I do think that the Panthers coaching staff, like Joe Brady's their OC, I think he's one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, especially with what he's done with Darnold, getting him on the move, a lot of play action, throwing downfield. So I like that. I do, because I personally see this as being a high scoring game. I think the market's kind of been back and forth on this total, over, under, but I see points in this game. I think Carolina is going to understand that they need to come into this game and they're going to have to take some shots in order to beat Dallas on the road. So I do like that. I think that, like,
I do too.
Again, in my head, I'm just trying to process whenever you say the pick, Pat, do I feel like this is the right number or not? And 46.5 seems low to me for Robbie Anderson.
Well, it's a lot lower than it was.
Pat, he doesn't hate this one. He kind of, he's lukewarm.
I listen. I'm not coming out here and calling Pat a stooge for his play. Let's just put it that way. I don't think Robbie Anderson over is a stooge play.
I appreciate that. Let's see what run.
It's a good play. It's a good play.
Let's see what. Well, it became, because I like Carolina in this game too. So it was between, do I bet this or do I bet the 4.5? I just think that this has a better shot at happening.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of, like, I'm a Cowboys fan. Like, people know that about me, or people watching don't know that. I'm a Cowboys fan. I will bet against Dallas. People know that about me in general. I think the problem I'm having with the Cowboys this year is that I have years of just being jaded from this team, right?
Yep.
Like, they always let you down. They always find a way to blow it. To me, that Monday night game, I like the Eagles against Dallas last week, and it's like,
really?
I saw like a
too.
really different.
I love the
Dallas
Cowboys
team. Yeah, listen. I think it's. I don't know if it's maybe my years of just expecting the worst out of Dallas that are kind of getting to me now. But, like, this is a legitimate offense, right? Like, it's very difficult to shut down Dak and these weapons right now. And I know that there's an extra rest. Like, it's a very weird situation where you get Carolina off of Thursday night football against Dallas off Monday night football. So much more preparation time. But I'm not a believer in the Panthers defense just yet. Like, everybody's pumping the Panthers and, like, oh, they have this amazing defense. And, like, their defense absolutely stunk last year. And they've also played, like, some pretty shitty quarterbacks so far this year, right? When you look at their schedule so far, they had Davis Mills last week, they had Zach Wilson, and they had Jameis Winston. Like, they've played nobody in terms of opposing quarterbacks. So for me, it's a big step up in class for Carolina. I don't know what we're going to get, but I don't know. It's like it's impossible for me to read the Cowboys right now because of years of disappointment, I would say.
All right. So Robbie A, 46.5 over receiving yards for me. Cam, bronze pick.
Can I ask you guys a question first?
Sure.
Games that I liked, I really like Detroit, but there's a voice inside my head like Gazoo saying public dog, bad. Like, I don't know, like, I don't understand how the Bears are favored, so I'm kind of like haven't bet that game. Okay, sorry, I just.
Well, you know what, Cam?
I've had a couple. Like, I had a long night last night. I had a couple beers.
Well, you said, can I ask you guys a question, and then made a statement, and then said you had a few beers. Like, what's the question?
The question is, do you like Detroit +3?
I personally do not.
Okay.
I do not either.
Okay.
Here's what I will say, Cam. Like, if you were to bet this game last week, right? The look ahead line on this game was Bears -6. Now, obviously,
exactly.
Right. So obviously, this to me is like one of those recency bias things, right? The Lions take the Ravens to the wire. It was a game that they honestly probably should have got blown out, but Hollywood Brown can't catch a ball. How many balls is that guy going to drop in the end zone?
Exactly.
So it makes the Lions look better than they are. The Bears got smoked. The offense sucked. But they faced they faced the team that has the best pass rush win rate in the entire league. They're going from the best to the worst in the span of a week. So if there's ever a game where the O-line is going to hold up, and I assume Fields is going to start, but who knows? Could be Dalton, could be Foles. Like, the Lions are the Lions. Like, I don't know.
They play hard. But anyway, no, that game, like, I always have these vibes, like when you like something, and I got that vibe, so I'm going to stay away. My bronze pick, I bet against these guys like Pizzola. I'm taking the Seahawks. This is the type of game the Seahawks show up in. And I know this team, actually at the last minute, I'm like, abort, take the Vikings. Like, they're going to lose this game big time. Like, I knew something was fishy there, and Minnesota murdered these guys. This is a perfect bounce back game. Seattle always plays San Francisco tough. This is the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo's got no running game. They got Sermon. That's the only way they can pummel the Seahawks. Pete Carroll and his staff aren't bright. You could say they're stooges, but they'll have enough in the tank to understand what to do against Jimmy G and San Francisco. Bounce back week for the Seahawks. They're not playing good football right now, but they always play the Niners tough. Ever since they've gone to the NFC, I think they went outright by between 1 and 3. We're getting 3 on the site. Give me the Seattle Seahawks. That's my bird this week. Please don't shit on me. Like, you know what I mean? How about you lay me a golden egg? That sounds nice.
If you want to hear something what's pretty crazy, which I saw this week, Russell Wilson has never lost 3 games in a row in his career.
It's we're talking about Pizzola. No, it's all no, like, honestly, and that line looks like, oh, San Francisco. Am I saying Seattle's better than San Francisco? No, but it's like we talk about in the NFL. It's just, this is the time and the place after them getting murdered against Minnesota. It's put up or shut up time. I know they got injuries, but I don't trust Jimmy G and San Francisco. I think Seattle can do enough. I think they can actually do a lot of things they want in that game. A lot of screens. Carson will have a good game, and Wilson is going to shred. That's the one thing you could throw on the 49ers too. So I think Metcalf's going to have a big game. So give me Seattle.
Right. I like Seattle in that game too. So Seattle money line, Indy money line. We got a Jets money line. We got a parlay going here, Cam.
We do.
Honestly, the
Giants,
play that
Jets.
parlay. You play that parlay and just lose on Indy and like call it a day.
You know what, Pizzola? I'm so glad you said that, because you know what Gambler doesn't like? Chatter like that. He doesn't like talk where you're, yeah, well, we'll see when Indy goes into Miami and wins the game outright as 2-point dogs, buddy, and it would be perfect on the gold picks. You keep chirping.
I know. I've already said.
I'm actually glad. I bet you regretted saying that right after you did.
I sure did.
Because Gambler doesn't like that stuff.
Yep,
he likes you to be humble.
Gonna message Pat's editor afterwards, ask him to cut it out. No, I mean,
no, I just say, what are you gonna do? It's hard. Last week, I just look at the board, guys. It's like, this is the problem picking 3 games. It can get in your head. It's just one of those things, because Pizzola, I know you don't do the same as me, but I bet more than you do because it's not a smart thing to do. That's what I do. It's a lifestyle, and it's hard to narrow it down. But you know, I think I think the Seahawks or the Sea Chickens can getting 3 points. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Niners this week. I think it's the wrong side. I like the Seahawks. I mean, look, the 49ers have major injuries at cornerback right now. Like, this is a big problem for them, right? Jason Verrett's on IR. K'Wan Williams got hurt last week. Josh Norman, who's like completely washed, is hurt as well. Like, it's very, very thin for them. They're going to have guys that are completely washed up that are going to have to play, like Dre Kirkpatrick and Buster Screen. Like, these guys stink. They have 0 snaps this year for a reason, and they're likely going to have to play against DK Metcalf. My only concern is Tyler Lockett's hip right now. Exactly. Right? Yeah.
If he suits up, I love the Seahawks, but I will say this too. I know Kyle Shanahan said that, like, George Kittle's not at risk of missing this game. I think he's at risk of missing this game. Like, he's not practicing. He's not even stepping on the field. Like, that would be a massive blow for the 49ers. Huge weapon for them. I like Seattle. I mean, I think there's value here at 3 for sure. 100%. I don't think there's much separating these teams going into this week with what the 49ers are dealing with in the secondary right now.
Well, are you going to make Seattle your silver or your bronze pick as well?
I mean, I considered it. I want to give like some more games to people. You know,
I agree with that.
You know,
except for the Indy Miami game. Now you've had a change of heart. Right?
Well, I actually did mention I wanted to give more games there. I was like I said, I was goaded into that one by you, Cam. Like, you're like, no, Pizzola, you got to do it now. You got to do it.
You talk to me. No. You talk to me like I'm some kind of bully in the schoolyard. Like I'm like stealing your lunch money. I'm a friend. I'm the guy who gets everyone together. Let's smoke one. Let's drink one. I don't pick fights with people. That's not who I am.
Deep down, you love the competition. You love when I oppose you.
Yes.
That way, when you win,
that's why I played sports. Like, when you do something to me, that's the thing. But after, we can go out for a cold one, you know, and we can talk about our lives and how successful you are in your white room and how you can shred on a guitar. And my place is basically destroyed by the company that I work for because of cords that I have that have ripped out my carpeting.
Okay. I don't know how does that work? Like, you have to explain that. How do
Just it's a shitty carpet. It's a shitty carpet. No, I got bad backgrounds. I got a fucking green screen. I got this and that. I called the internet because they want me to upgrade my internet. Now I have no channels. I tried to watch these games. I got no fucking channels other than CP24 and a kids channel. I had TV Ontario. So now I got to call these guys and get my channels back. Thank God for my Fire Stick. But now I'm watching games like fucking 2 minutes, 3 minutes behind. I hate streaming. I know everybody and their mother, all these kids know, oh, stream. Streams suck because you're fucking 3 minutes behind all the time. And people know the results before. It's bad when you're betting. That's
about 30
all.
seconds behind on the streams. You're correct about that. But I need to get into this a little more because
Sorry, man. I don't even know what the hell's going on.
You have the same internet service provider as your cable, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So you called to change your internet and somehow they changed your TV
Yes.
channel.
Yes.
I mean, it seems very implausible that would happen.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you
really,
a liar.
Really, Pizzola?
I mean,
no, don't call me a liar. And also,
I'm not calling you a liar.
Know what? I'll tell you another thing. How fucking plausible is this? When they sent the shit, they forgot the fucking modem. And that's the damn truth. I got 2 fucking boxes. Those boxes that look like a piece of toast. I don't know. What can I do with them? I need a modem for the internet to run, you morons. Anyway, God, I'm so stressed out, man. I need a vacation.
I mean,
well,
football season.
We're
into the 4th week. Vacations ain't coming anytime soon, Cap.
I know, Rob.
Hey, listen, you get Indy, Jets, Giants, Seattle money line. You go take a vacation.
No, I got. So who do I got? I got India's gold, Jets silvers +7, and Seattle +3. Bronze.
That's right.
Thanks, Pat. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I mean, it sounds like a good slate, except for the Colts. I like the plays there.
So Pizzola, Pizzola,
like a
bronze.
dog. Eh? He's still tugging at your leg. You little. Go Pizzola. Tell us your picks.
Okay, I do like the Seahawks. I did consider them for bronze, but I'm going to pivot here. Pivot.
Okay,
DraftKings has the Chiefs at -6.5, and I'm going to take the Chiefs at -6.5. Here's why. Normally, you never want to really fade these teams that get blown out on primetime, right? Like the Eagles look bad, and like you think there'd be an adjustment. Well, I mean, if I wanted to bet this game last week, the Chiefs are 6.5. They're still 6.5. Why are we not reacting to the Eagles being absolutely garbage against the Cowboys? Like, if they couldn't stop the Cowboys passing attack, what makes you think they're going to stop the Chiefs passing attack?
You know what it is, Pizzola? The Chiefs are so bad ATS now that people are starting to bake it into the number, and it's a bad time to put the cookies in the oven. The Chiefs should be 8.5 in that game.
I agree, and I think that's what's happening is people are getting burned more and more by Kansas City, betting them as favorites. They're not covering they're actually a horrible covering rate over the last couple years, and we're starting to get bargains with them because the Eagles are they're in shambles on the offensive line, right? They're already down 2 offensive linemen against Seattle. Against the Cowboys. They lose 1 more, Isaac Samalo, their guard as well. So they're now down 3 offensive linemen trying to protect Jalen Hurts, who is frankly not a great quarterback just in general right now. Like, this is a Chiefs team that they score on everybody. Like, we're looking at the Chiefs. I saw PFT, whatever, Mike Florio's site had the Chiefs ranked 12th in the power rankings this week. I'm like, find me the 11 teams that are going to be favored over Kansas City. Like, we're in crazy overreaction mode right now to Kansas City. They were a Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble away from beating the Ravens. Last week, they turned the ball over 3 times inside the Chargers' 30-yard line. Like, this is still a very, very good football team with an elite offense. I think this is a short price. I think it should have been adjusted more after Monday Night Football. I like Kansas City. I'll take 6.5 with Kansas City.
I'm down to 3 games here for my bronze pick. So I want to run these by you. I like Washington -1.5. I just think they're way better than the Falcons. For whatever reason, I've convinced myself that Pittsburgh 6.5 is a good bet against Green Bay. And then the Denver-Baltimore game, I'm very intrigued by because Denver could be really good, and we just don't know it yet because it's almost like when we talked about the Panthers. Like, who have they played? They played absolutely no one. But what if this offense is actually good? Because we know that the Ravens offense is pretty good. If Hollywood Brown's not dropping those touchdowns, they score a bunch of points last week. So I was thinking that the over in this game might be the play because the Ravens have no secondary to speak of. The Broncos have guys that can get behind the defense. And I think that the Ravens are going to be able to post points on the Broncos D. Like, I think the Broncos D might be a little bit overrated at the moment because they've legit not played anyone.
I think the Broncos D is going to be probably one of the top 3 units by the end of the year. but I think they're going to be much more successful against the pass than the run. If you look at their front seven, it's more built against the pass. So I think that this is a matchup where the Ravens can run the ball pretty successfully on Denver. So I do like it from that point of view. My issue with the total, by the way, I do lean over in this game, so I don't want to make it sound like I don't like the play. My number is 45, and I think DraftKings is 44.5 right now. So I lean over. The problem for me with Denver is KJ Hamler getting hurt, because But
KJ Hamler, do we even know if he's good or not? They still have someone who can stretch the defense. Deontay, whatever his name is.
Yes, I know, but like Hamler's 4.3 speed. Like he's a deep.
I like
threat.
Hamler.
And like Bridgewater, throughout his career, he's been known as like that game manager, right? That was always his thing. Check down a lot. He hasn't been doing that a lot. I won't say he hasn't been doing it a lot, but he's actually been stretching the field. Like his air yards are quite a bit. Now you don't have Judy and Hamler. The offense is like a little bit easier to cover. You have Graham Glasgow and Dalton Risner on the offensive line that are hurt for Denver. I don't know. Like I can see it. I can see this turning into a shootout. I really can.
Pittsburgh's the play for you, Pat. I wouldn't trust Washington, Atlanta. Everybody's going to be on Green Bay. That's your trust me. You want to fade the public? Green Bay is going to be one of the biggest public plays. And as we know, Pizzola, it's not our first rodeo. Public usually gets burned on these huge games, especially with marquee players and stuff. Everyone's down on Pittsburgh. They lost to the Bengals. They show up in this game and lose a heartbreaker. Take the points.
The Steelers in this spot, like under Tomlin, this has been the spot, right? Like big underdog. This was week 1 against the Bills, right? Yep. They're in this underdog role. You don't give them a chance and they end up winning. I will say this though. There is a chance that they're bad. That Pittsburgh is washed. Like this could be one of those where Green Bay wins 42-3 and it wouldn't surprise anyone. I'm kind of indifferent on this game, but like the Steelers could be really bad.
But look at his other games. He asked us to select one. Washington, Atlanta. That game's that's a mess. That's a dumpster fire. I would lean probably Falcons. And Pat, I don't think Washington's that good either. I think they're overrated. And the Denver-Baltimore game could go either way. Slight lean to the Ravens, but the Broncos have been money. I think Pittsburgh's the play out of those games.
I think Pat tried to crowdsource here, and he's just ended up even more confused than when he started.
What are you talking about? I said take Pittsburgh. You said I think you like Pittsburgh too, don't you?
Yeah.
Out of those three, which one do you like the best? That's what he asked.
I'd say I like Pittsburgh the least. Oh. That's not to say.
See this guy, Pat? See what he does? He's the best. I love you, Pizzola. You really know how to grind my gears. But okay, so you're telling me you have confidence in the Washington Atlanta game or Baltimore Denver? Those games are tough, man. They're all tough.
Listen, these are 3 games that I didn't bet the Washington Atlanta side.
Take the Giants. The Giants. We talked about it. The Giants is your bronze pick. Come on, right?
Well, I mean, based off the way that last week went, I think that probably the Ravens over is the best of the bunch. Cam likes the Steelers. So
I don't like the Steelers. He asked us, what out of those 3, what do you think's the best? And I said the Steelers. I agree. I think they might get murdered, but I take the points.
I don't hate Washington either. I think the Falcons stink. I bet the Falcons last week against the Giants.
Really?
I probably would be eating ramen noodles if it wasn't for the Falcons.
Let's talk about Washington. They get smoked by Buffalo, and they should have lost to the Giants on a bad penalty call. Are they that good? Heineke Mufflers, a.k.a. Heineken the drink. You know what I mean? He's a grinder, and I like him. But, this is what I love. This is the narratives. Oh, Washington's defense is so good. Yeah, really? Maybe they have a couple good players, but as a damn unit, they're not that great. That's what I hate about these people. So they have a couple good individuals. Their defense still sucks. The Bills shredded these guys.
Yeah, but the Bills shredded them. The Bills have 4 receivers. The Falcons have Ridley and Gage is hurt. The prophet Zacchaeus is their number 2 receiver.
Pitts,
there
I drafted him in my fantasy. He's done jack shit all year.
Because Matt Ryan has no time to throw.
No, Matt Ryan's it works both ways. Matty Ice is a fucking statue, and he holds the ball. You want to talk about Carson Wentz holding the ball? Matt Ryan's been a great quarterback his career. Who the fuck throws 2 pick sixes to the same fucking guy and don't cover against the Bucks when I'm on Atlanta? Matt Ryan, that's who. They should have been an easy cover. They could have won that game outright.
Matty Ice is like he's
I don't know why I'm
basically
so
an
angry right now.
Well, I mean, losing bets could do that to you.
I'm not losing bets. I crushed the NHL last night. I was on fucking Jacksonville. I don't know. I just got a lot of problems.
I wasn't referring to yesterday, but like you were reliving your bet on Atlanta plus 13 against Tampa in your head there, and you're getting fired up because you thought you were going to win a lot of money in the fourth quarter there. They're down 3. Then you see pick six. It happens to the best of us, Cam. You know.
I just need to smoke something. I just got to calm down. I'm just not in a. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I am going to
take it, Pat.
I am going to take Denver Baltimore over 44.5. This is a game that I'm targeting on DraftKings.
So now, Pat, I got to cover. So you ask us for all of our wisdom and stuff, and then you don't even you go on a different area code too.
You want it? It's crowdsourcing. He wants to know what we think. Like he's just.
I listen. Maybe there's something that I left unturned. I wanted to hear what you guys thought about it. That was the one I had the biggest lean in coming in. That's the one that I'm going to stick with. I just think that's a low number. Yeah. People treat these two teams like their defenses are really good, and Denver's might be, like Pizzola said, but that might be after Chubb ends up coming back later on in the year. And they have been completely untested so far. That Denver could just be a very mediocre team who's played a really easy schedule. In Baltimore, I think their defense is just god awful. Just with all the injuries that they've sustained, that if this ends up becoming a boat race, I have enough faith in Lamar that he'll just start running around in circles and run to the end zone.
No, I agree with you.
It's a low total. Like
that total's low. Very
48
low.
points is the average in the NFL this year, and 44.5. So you're more than a field goal lower than the average total in the NFL. I mean, I think it's over or nothing personally, but I mean. These tough games this week, man. Outside of these big the first things I circled on the card this week were Jags, Giants, Jets, like bottom of the barrel.
Me too, buddy.
Absolute garbage.
I circled
the board is a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I circled Jags, Jets, Seahawks, Lions that you guys talked me out of, which I already had a bad vibe about. Yeah, like there's a lot of bad teams we're betting on. Indy. Oh boy.
I mean, Indy, though, the market views them as okay, but they are bad. Yes.
Is it that the market views Indy as okay, or does the market also view Miami as being crap?
Listen, it could be a number of things in general. I've spoken way too much about Miami and trashed Indy way too much in this video now for the Dolphins to even have a chance to win this game. Like, it's done. We might as well just give the Colts a win right now.
Please do.
Just give Cam his winning gold pick right now and keep the run going. Because I've said way too many bad things about this team. They're going to win by like 2 touchdowns.
Hope so.
That will do it.
That'd be nice.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Rob, tell everyone about BetStamp.
Yeah, BetStamp. Check
it's a thing.
You can download. It's a thing. Honestly, everyone knows how tough it is to beat the NFL. Like if you're betting into minus 110 on the NFL, you need to win at 52.4% to win. It's very difficult to do. Not many people can do that over an extended period of time. What BetStamp does is it finds you the best line available at any sportsbook that you're betting at. Shop at multiple books, get the best price. If you can get a +7 at minus 102 instead of +7 minus 110, that is going to save you a lot in the long run. So download BetStamp, check us out on the website, betstamp.app. But it's a great line shopping tool. And honestly, for those that don't even have an edge at sports betting, it's one of the biggest ways and easiest ways to gain an edge without having to do anything other than just find the best available price and bet it at that sportsbook.
So Cam, you get BetStamp and then you go sign up for runthesims.com because it's completely free until Sunday. You merge the two together and then boom, you can be printing money this weekend.
Yeah. Can you guys do all these things for me? They sound lovely. Like, Rob, I'd like an account at BetStamp. Pat, send me some free golf stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I'll enter all the tournaments. Don't have a lot of time in the day. I'm helping people move and, you know, I do a lot of stuff. But anyway, I'm just, let's take a look. What am I, did you ask me, Pat, where I work or any of that stuff? Or yes, Rob, can I get a BetStamp account? And I'd
absolutely.
Like to, thank you.
Honestly, you would love BetStamp. It's free to sign up, but I'll create an account for you if you want and just send you login credentials.
Thank you.
It's completely fine. But you would actually love this app. I do believe it. And there's a marketplace. People post their picks. You can track other people. There's a lot of things going on that I think you'd really enjoy. So
this is what I want to talk to you guys about because you're extremely intelligent people. You're telling me in today's society we can't find a way with these passcodes? Like, who remembers all these things? Like, you know what I mean? And they say don't use the same one. And then, Rob, I was trying to get like a grocery delivery service, and they're like, show me the bicycles, show me the mountains, show me the bus. Like it got so frustrating that I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. Like, you know what I mean? It could at bet like, is there a way that does stuff like with codes?
Betstamp does not manage your passwords, but there are password managers out there. Like there's LastPass. There's a bunch of them that will manage your passwords for you and come up with like a unique password for every site that you visit. Where like you just go to the site, you sign up. It'd be a unique password. It saves it to LastPass, and then you just have one master password for that password manager, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, kind of, but anyway.
So that's
hoping for an easier answer. But
there was something else you mentioned there at the end about it wasn't password related.
No, Pat was mentioning something to get into some tournaments.
Oh, reCAPTCHA. Like, you know, like you're going to have to do the reCAPTCHAs, like the picking the airplanes and the school buses. It's a security feature. They want to make sure that you're not a robot.
My whole question to you was, how do we avoid all that shit so it's quick?
Okay, but you have to understand why the websites do this, right? It's because they have a lot of bots that are logging into the site, and they want to make sure you're a real human being. So, like, you can't avoid it. You got to go through the reCAPTCHA. I mean, it sucks.
How come the bots don't know what planes and shit are there too? They're not smart enough to figure it out.
Because the sites change it up on them. It's like,
I got to be honest with you. I'm sick and tired of society with all this bullshit. Like, we think we made progress. We're going backwards. That's the way I look at it. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
honestly, like logging on should not like, and that's the thing. And you get new stuff. It's a nightmare. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, there has to be a better way.
But would you prefer to go back to 40 years ago where there was no internet?
Actually, I almost want to go back 40 years. Like, just like in the old day, and I used to get the TV guide and circle it and put my tape in and go, hey, there's Law and Order. Instead of, everything now is so damn easy, right? Like, it's just, we used to get together with people. We used to watch games. We used to have friends. My brother's kid came over. The kid can't even talk. He's in his phone for like 2 weeks. These kids are socially, they have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, I'm spaced when I do this show, but I can at least have you and Pat over for a drink and we can have a conversation about some stuff. These kids nowadays, like, it's just, I sound like an old man, but it's ridiculous. Like, nobody even does anything.
It's different. I get it. I mean, Pat has a couple kids, so you could probably attest, but like, yeah, I mean, they gotta be raised on technology or else they're going to be left in the dust at some point. It's tough.
I guess I'm left in the dust.
Well, but I mean, like, you're going to send your kid to school and be like the only kid that's never used a cell phone in their life. Like, they're going to be lost. Like, they're doing tablet stuff at school. And I mean,
listen, I'm not saying that stuff. I'm saying basic applications. I'm just saying we don't have to like break into Fort Knox here. We got to start going out and playing basketball, football, doing more stuff. That's all.
But think about how much more efficient your life, like you talk about like 30 years ago, popping in a VHS of Law and Order or like waiting for it to come on. I know Law and Order's on at 9 o'clock. I'm going to wait. You can watch like 15 Law and Order episodes in a row.
I understand that. Like, I'm not saying, but here's the thing. I get this new system, right? When I get a modem and cable. In my old system, I used to hit a button to record a show. It said record. Now they have all this shit with remotes and stuff. There's nothing on the TV that says go to here and just fucking hit it and tape my murder shows. Like, last night I was sitting there. I was a million things I wanted to tape. I don't even know how to run it because Rogers gives me this new friggin' remote. It doesn't have a record button on it. That's what I'm saying. It's still stupid.
It's still better than popping in your VHS and then having.
Yes, it is, Pat. That was a horribly stupid statement by me. But the point that I was trying to make is,
it's not only that. It's the tracking that used to get me. Like, you have to go, especially if you record it off TV. You got to go up to it, make sure it's the right spot, get the tracking all right.
I agree.
Then sometimes it changed halfway through because the quality of the VHS you were using wasn't good enough. I don't want to go back to that.
No, I'm not saying tapes is bad. Like, that would be a moronic statement. I'm just saying, though, I got an upgrade from the thing that I just had, and it makes absolutely no sense. It's 100 times more difficult to use. Like, these things are supposed to better our lives. Now I can't even tape anything because it's impossible.
It was a downgrade, not an upgrade, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. It's basically
also,
what a
Cam.
Let's note for the listeners too that he's recording murder shows, as he called them, as well. Like, I
watch sports live. That's the one thing I do. I tape murder shows, ID Network, Crime and Investigation. Those are my favorite channels. When I'm not watching sports, I'm watching that stuff. I've seen them all. I could tell you every case, like who this dude is, like Carl Carlson, when his kid was fixing his car and he pulled the jack and he killed his own kid. Like, I've seen these things like 20 times, but there's a lot of bad people out there, Pizzola. That's why you should be watching these shows to pick up the signs. You might be dealing with some of these people.
I mean, I enjoy a nice crime doc every now and then. I saw that A&E brought back American Justice now.
Great show. And Cold Case Files, a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Those are.
I agree. Bill Curtis had one of the best voices in the business.
Really, really did. Him and I'm like very partial to the old Robert Stack.
Oh, Robert's Unsolved Mysteries. That's how I got into all this stuff. It's my favorite show. I have the VHSs. Like Unsolved Mysteries rocks, man. They got to bring it back. I heard they brought it back, but I don't know. I think it's just in Japan or something like that. I saw some article.
Well, if it was like those Dennis Farina episodes where they're just like recapping the old ones, that's not for me. But like Unsolved Mysteries, I'd be like 5 years old and my parents would be watching it in the living room, and like they'd go through this case like for 15 minutes. And it's like, they can't find this murderer, and it's like, his whereabouts are unknown, but people think that he might be, like, the officials believe he might be in Canada.
Yeah, he might be in
I wouldn't sleep for the entire night. I'd be sitting in bed like, there's this guy outside my house. Like,
always Canada. Hey, we think he might have gone to Canada.
Escaped to Canada.
Sorry, Pat. We're taking up your show. I don't even know what the hell we're doing, like talking about this stuff. I apologize. We get off track all the time.
You don't need to apologize. Why do you think I have you on the show?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. Like
this is the reason that.
I get it. No, and the picks are pretty. We've been doing pretty good with the picks.
Yeah, listen, the picks that have been really good. That is a huge bonus. But it's this.
If there's people watching for the picks, I'd genuinely be shocked at this point.
I got to be honest with you. I watch a lot of these professional shows. I'd rather watch our show for picks. These guys are giving out like they're not doing anything better.
We got some entertainment at least. Like a lot of these guys are like robotic, like it's robots. I like the Browns and the Titans.
Yeah,
it's just like rhyme off all the reasons that they like those. I get it. I mean, there's a market for that in general, but it's got to have some fun with it too.
If I take a picture of my converter, Pizzola, and text you, would you be able to help me tape shows? Because I'm getting very frustrated. And it's Friday, big crime night tonight. Dateline NBC 2020, all my shit's on tonight. Like while I'm watching the games, I like to tape the other stuff, and that's what I do on Saturday morning before college football. I watch my murder shows.
I'll explain my process to you here, but you're going to send me a picture of your converter and your box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this website. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Google.
Yes, I got it.
I'm going to type in
but your converter
how to record
box.
On whatever, and like I'm going to go through the FAQs, and that's what I'm going to do.
Thanks, buddy. Actually, you shouldn't even help me for us like talking about that Dolphins Indy game, but I appreciate you giving me a lifeline.
The point that I was trying to make was that I don't really need, like, you can do this yourself. This is the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, okay.
Like you could just go to Google and type search this.
Okay.
I'll
give it a shot.
Listen, if you can't figure it out, I will help you. But like,
I know we do the show. You'd think sometimes I'd have, but I actually have I did really well on my IQ test. I get frustrated with technology. I don't have the patience to go through this stuff. I don't know why I get rattled. I'm like Homer Simpson. Why does everything have to be so hard? Like I'm building, I can't build any, like those are my issues. I have problems building and focusing. Yep. That's my problem.
I mean, I remember working with you at the Score, Cam, and I remember this clearly. I actually remember one day where you're trying to flip the TV channel right at the TV that was at Morency's desk, and it wouldn't go, and you were freaking out, and you're like, what the hell, none of this stuff ever works. And then I opened up the remote and the batteries were missing, probably because you had taken them the day before.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience.
Well played.
Cam Stewart live on Twitter, at Rob Pizzola on Twitter. We will be back next Friday or Thursday evening, whenever it's going to end up coming out. We'll have the week 5 best bets, and hopefully we do a little bit better this time around. Smash the like, sub to the channel, and say hello to all of you who watched on Game Plus Network, which I'm sure was filled with a lot of beeps. But that's okay. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!